A lot of information coming to light in today's video. What is up, peeps? How are you doing on this fine dandy morning? Get some water and coffee, as we found out from a stream a couple of days ago, and Nadeshot, as he almost invested in a shooter that was just released and has been announced and marketed as Shroud's new game. If you guys have not caught this game, Spectre, a lot of people saying it feels a bit like Valorant and other games entangled in it. We've only seen teasers here and there brought to us by Mountaintop Studios, to which we found out on stream that Nadeshot himself was asked about investing into this project, and with all the other things ongoing in his life, was welcoming in a newborn, his first kid on the way at the time, and also moving into a house. He chose to not invest. It led to conversations on stream of some people in his chat very early on, maybe without even playing Shroud's new game, already hating on that game.
Have you seen anything on Shroud's new tag shooter, Spectre? Yeah, I have. Funny enough, I was asked to invest by the dev studio that made Spectre, and at that point in my life, it's not that I didn't think the game was a good idea, but I just wasn't looking to write like a check at that time, because my wife and I were thinking about buying a house. We were thinking about having kids. You know, there's a lot of different reasons, but I am curious to play it. The idea of controlling two bodies, I think, is somewhat interesting. I obviously love tag shooters after playing Val as much as I have, so I'm certainly curious. I don't really have any strong opinions on whether it's going to be a success or not. I think it's hard to... Making a hit game is like winning the lottery, I feel like. I mean, it's a little bit more controllable, I would say, than the sheer luck that the lottery is. But it's really hard for games to skyrocket in popularity. It takes like the right time, the right momentum, the right type of game. I hope they find success with it. I'm excited to try it. Bad game in my opinion. You haven't even played it, right? Nobody's played it. Is it out?
And why I gave you guys that background context, as it leads into the main point of this video, as Nadeshot continues to discuss why he thinks it seems nowadays everyone wants new games to fail, and using XDefiant and Shroud's new game and other titles as an example of that, of many people out there who will never take the time to actually play these games, but then hate on them online and seemingly want them to fail. What do you guys think?
So saturated these days? I don't think there's actually... I mean, the gaming industry is definitely... I don't think it's oversaturated. There's a lot of games that come out, but there's not a lot of games that stick. There's a playtest tomorrow. Tomorrow's the beta. Oh, no way. Okay, cool. Maybe we'll try it out or something. I'm not sure. Just like XD, terrible game. LOL, overhyped. Yo, Stunzy, once again, I don't think anybody's played it yet. Why do we feel that way? Stunzy, listen, man. I don't know if I'm gonna get a serious answer out of you, but I am curious. Like, why do you feel like the game is terrible and overhyped? What makes... Why? If you haven't played it, you haven't seen anybody play it. What game? We were talking about Shroud's game, Spectre. Yes, people have played it. Okay, have you played it? You can watch gameplay. What do you mean? Have you played it, though? There's a 20-second delay, so I'm sitting here waiting. There's something weird that has happened in the gaming community. I'm serious, too, when I say this. For some reason, everybody in the gaming community wants they want games to fail. It's very bizarre. Like, the whole thing with XDefiant is still, like, stumps me to this day. It's like, people complain about not having enough games to play, but when new games come out, even before they have played it, they're like, that game sucks, I'm not going to play it. And I'm like, listen, man, if we keep tearing down these studios trying to make good games, like, yeah, not every single one is going to be fun, and not every single one is going to be a hit. But if we're sitting here, like, preying on its downfall before the game even comes out, what do you think's going to happen? Nobody's going to be investing in gaming and making new games.
And a quick mention worth adding on to this, Mountaintop Studios, I believe, was invested into by multiple gamers. I believe Tarek was one, It's Timmy was one, Shroud was another, and so a studio set to making all of these games, and seemingly their strategy being, hey, you're going to be maybe a potential small percentage co-owner in the company, we're going to add you on, you will also invest in the company, and then we're going to use you as the marketing for that said game, as Shroud has been a pivotal piece, I would say, in the marketing of this title. Whether you like it or not, it's an interesting strategy that I think we're going to see more of in the gaming space in the next decade or so, as a unique way of using streamers to market these new games. And this was met with a variety of responses out there. I would say a lot of people coming to agree with Nadeshot. I think we can all probably think of a game where I've seen a trailer and instantly my first reaction is like, that's a copycat of another game. I hate that. And I am a hater of some games out there. I'll say it, guys, when it comes to Marvel Rivals or whatever it is, I was calling an Overwatch copycat. I was a hater without even watching the game or playing the game much after that to see how it actually developed. So that's on me. There are definitely haters out there. I have been one when it comes to some games. Although when it comes to more indie dev projects, I am much more a proponent of, hey, give this a try. Let's see if it goes viral. But when it comes to game and studios and people who back projects who already have money, yeah, sometimes I'm a hater, okay? Like the new Call of Duty cycle, I think we're allowed to hate on that kind of new game.
And you're not going to have shit to fucking play. You're going to be sitting here playing MW2 Remastered Edition. You're going to be sitting here trying to play fucking the same old games for the 1,000th time because these billionaires and fucking multi-million, billion-dollar publishers, they're not gonna greenlight any new games, any new concepts, any new IP. We're fucked. We're fucked. It's like crazy, actually. I don't really get it, bro. I mean, I try to put myself in the shoes of myself when I was like 16 years old, but I can't. I was excited for new games when they came out. The problem is now we have too many options. We've seen too many different games. We've seen too many different ways to interact with games. Like back in the day, bro, in 2007, when Halo 3, Gears of War 1, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare dropped the same fucking year, bro, we were lined up outside of GameStops, whether it was in a mall or attached to a fucking Hollywood Video, sitting there waiting, camped out, drinking fucking Mountain Dew, waiting for these new games for the midnight release. Everybody was so excited about it. Now when new games come out, we're fucking sitting around a goddamn fire witch artifact, like doing a satanic ritual for the game to fail miserably.
And I totally understand where he's coming from. There are tons of people out there, and especially I think Shroud's game and X Defiant were very good examples where you have these complaints of, oh, we want a Call of Duty like a fast-paced FPS or shooter, but we don't want to pay up front for it. X Defiant fills that slot to a T. And I would almost say the finals kind of filled a weird void in that as well, where it was a very fun game for a very short period of time, and very quickly on, had a bunch of haters on both of it. And yes, there could be a variety of reasons as to why these games face haters, but especially for X Defiant, fitting that niche so well, and then with Call of Duty marketing on top to rival it, and Call of Duty doing a better job in some capacities, despite the game of X Defiant being free to play, it had tons of hate, and there were plenty of people out there who wanted the game to fail. So I definitely understand his sentiment and where he is coming from, but there's obviously going to be arguments on both sides. But I really want to hook on to a different statement he said, like, we have just had too much of a taste. Like, we have had too much exposure to too many types of game for too many years now, where everywhere we look, there's a new game being released, whether it's indie or big studio backed. I mean, it seems like we have just had a taste of the town of all of these different games and what is possible. So nowadays, finding that perfect criteria, it is impossible, and it's so easy to be a hater, you know? Like, it's very easy, especially when you're not being paid to promote these games, and all of us aren't, right? I've never been paid to, I think I've been paid in my life like one time to promote a game out there, and I know you guys are with me on that. And it's so it's easier to be a hater when you're not meant to be a partner of a game or promoting it that way. But also, it's so much harder for these games to perfect themselves to meet the expectations that we have built for ourselves in the gaming scene. Can we at least agree on that? And I will round it off with a different genre than FPS or shooter or MOBA or arena shooter, whatever you want to label all of those games out there. Even take it to the MMO category with what happened with New World and MMOs in general. Yes, New World messed up the economy very early on. It was not the game that was promised or expected, that's for sure. But even then, it was partially because RuneScape, World of Warcraft, all of these MMOs that have built up over the last 2 to 3 decades, people had such high expectations and they had such high level mindsets about how you can ruin a game's economy, which back in the day when I first started playing RuneScape or WoW, we didn't have an idea around how to play these games. Now people know how to play, they know how to manipulate, and we know how to ruin the enjoyment of games faster than ever before because we know a next one's coming out sooner rather than later. Am I alone in that thinking thought process? I'm not drunk. So thank you, Nadeshot, for sparking this conversation. I'm super curious what you guys think about this. Do you think people out there want new games to fail more than ever? And I think it could have been worded differently, but the same underlying sentiment reigns true. What do you guys think? I will be reading comments. Thank you all for watching and being here and subscribing. Drink your water and coffee, why don't you? And we'll see you back here sometime soon. If you guys see any clips like these, feel free to send them our way and we can talk about them here on the channel. Till next time, take care.